All right, welcome everyone to this very special webinar. It's around 1:30 p.m. Sunday afternoon. So I wanted to give this spontaneous webinar because I think that business today is so important. In fact, I believe that business is the major constraint to making money on the internet, and especially with artificial intelligence. So today I'm going to share with you a couple of business secrets that are not taught anywhere. And trust me, I've read over 1,000 business books, and I watch countless YouTube videos and Facebook groups, etc. And I've never seen these business secrets or principles. So I'm going to share as much as I can with you. And basically, this is a video that I don't know. Maybe it's going to become a documentary. Maybe it's going to become a video course or an ebook, or a software program or web application that eventually I'm gonna sell to a billion people on LinkedIn. And this is not arrogance. This is just based on my objective observation that this kind of business knowledge or these secrets and principles and frameworks are not taught out there. And I went to McGill University from 96 to 99, and I got a business degree. But even though I have a business degree from McGill, which is known as the Harvard of Canada, I've never come across these secrets and principles. So long story short, I'm just going to share with you as briefly and concisely as possible everything that I know about business. And this is not the typical MBA. This is way better than the MBA programs out there. MBA programs will teach you the basics of business, but I'm not teaching the basics of business. I'm teaching like really elite caliber hacks and techniques that you can use right away to get a head start in business. And so first of all, we're going to define exactly what is a business and what is a sustainable competitive advantage, and we'll proceed from there. So I just wanted to be a spontaneous and casual conversation where together we're going to learn about business. So first of all, what is a business and why should you care? And this is important because this webinar, this ebook, this video course eventually is going to target a billion people. So I really want everyone to understand what business really is and why everyone should learn business. Okay, so let's get started. What is business and why should you care? Why should everyone care about business? So we're entering a stage of economic development, historical development, where we have this thing, you might have heard of it, it's called AI, and it came about in December 2022. And to me, AI is like a alien intelligence. It's extremely powerful, and if you've played with it like I did, and today I think we have like 800 million people who are using ChatGPT every week. It's inevitable. AI is not going to go away. So anyways, what's happening today is that AI will give you all the information. It can generate all kinds of documents for you. It can write plans for you, like the basic plan. You have to refine it. It's going to share with you techniques. It's going to do so much for you. So basically you have like almost infinite knowledge, infinite intelligence, and it's custom for you. But does that mean that you're going to be able to generate infinite income? So that's a question that we really care about in my Facebook group, Make Money with AI, which has nearly 1,000 members, and my LinkedIn newsletter has about 1,400 subscribers. The LinkedIn newsletter is also called Make Money with AI. So my job is to help you to make money with AI. But does this mean that when you access ChatGPT for only $20 a month, you have infinite knowledge that you're going to make infinite income? Well, no. And so what is it that is stopping you from generating maybe not infinite income, but let's say something more modest, like what is it that is stopping you from making $1 million in revenue or income, it's up to you, per year? What is it that is stopping you? Because it's certainly not the lack of knowledge, because ChatGPT knows everything. Like, it's super smart, and it's going to get smarter and smarter. And it's not just ChatGPT. You have other language models. You have DeepSeek that you can run on your gamer PC. You have like Manus, you have like Perplexity, which is not a large language model, by the way, because they are kind of like a smart search engine. They use different language models. You have Claude that can generate code for you, very good at coding. And so intelligence and even skills, right? Like Claude can actually program for you, and that's actually a skill. And this is something we're gonna come back to later on. There's a difference between skills versus knowledge. So you have infinite skills, especially regarding coding. Just want to mention briefly, Base44 is what I'm using. It's a platform that will generate web applications for you. They even host it. So you have infinite knowledge and infinite skills. So why can't you make infinite money? And so this is the reason why you should learn business, because my hypothesis is that what is blocking you from making infinite money, infinite income, or as much income as you want, whether it's $50,000 a month or even just $10,000 a month. Why can't you make infinite income with ChatGPT, even though it has infinite knowledge and skills? And at $20 a month, it's very affordable. So I'm just going to put for only $20 a month, and that's US, so I don't know, probably 27 Canadian. But $20 a month, it's nothing. It's a sushi lunch. So just skip a sushi lunch and you have access to infinite knowledge, skills, and intelligence. So for only $20 a month, you have access to all of this. Why aren't you making passive income or infinite income? Why do you still have a job? And this is a very blunt question that, nobody is asking, and I'm asking it because I don't need a job. I'm financially free for life. I don't need to ever work again. A comedian, by the way, said, I have enough money. I don't have to work a day in my life for the rest of my life, provided I stop eating. So anyways, that's a joke. But no, I'm still going to eat, fancy food everything, but I don't have to work anymore. So I solved the problem of financial freedom, but most people haven't solved that problem. What I call financial freedom. So why do you still have a job? This is really, really strange. I find it strange that human beings have to drag themselves, to go to the office 9 to 5. That's the better part of every day. I think personally, if I was a father, I would reserve that part of the day, 9 to 5, for my kids, But anyways, why are people wasting time working 9 to 5, 40 hours a week, some 40 years? You're going to be working 40 years, and I call it slaving, to enrich someone else. Some of my friends are saying, Peter, slaving, that's you're going too far. But for me, that's slaving, because you don't own your time. You don't have freedom. Like, I can spend my time, like tomorrow, Monday, with anyone. I can go travel anywhere. I have freedom. I have a Canadian passport, just renewed it. But most people don't have freedom. Like, you look at your friends on Facebook, your coworkers, your connections on LinkedIn, they don't have freedom. And this is important for people to recognize, because people who have a big ego or just an ordinary ego, they will come up with something like a counter argument, like, look at people in Africa, they're poor, you should be grateful, you should be content, you should money doesn't buy happiness. So people have all these kinds of excuses or self-limiting beliefs that keep them enslaved to the job, and they don't realize that they're very much like the human batteries portrayed in the movie The Matrix. They watch the movie, they love the movie, but they didn't get the lesson. which is that you got to get out of the matrix. The matrix was created by the elite, by employers, by corporations, even that control the university curriculum. And so when you go to college or university, and when you send your kids to college and university and you pay for their tuition fees, tens of thousands of dollars, you're basically training your kids to become a slave. So anyways, this is a different live stream I'm going to delve into later on just for parents, but it's a live stream called Will Your Kids Become Slaves or Masters? But anyways, the focus here is, why aren't you making passive income? Why aren't you making money with ChatGPT, even though it has infinite knowledge and skills? That's the question you should be asking yourself. That's the only question that matters, because I don't really care. I don't know about you, but I don't really care whether ChatGPT can write poetry or can generate images and videos. I really don't care. Like, unless I can sell those videos, unless I can sell those images, I don't care. But most people are so impressed with, ChatGPT, infinite knowledge, like even like medical healthcare, which is good, by the way, if you have a medical problem. But people are so impressed with ChatGPT, infinite knowledge and infinite skills. But I'm not so impressed, because, again, the question I'm asking is, why do you have to show up at the office tomorrow, or the retail store, or wherever you're working? Why don't you have freedom yet? Financial freedom. That's the question that, 1 billion people on LinkedIn, because most of them are employees, they don't have freedom. Why aren't they producing money with AI? It's because they haven't learned how to make money with AI, but there's a deeper reason, and I'm going to share with you the reason why, even though OpenAI can come up with GPT 6, 7, 8, 12, I don't care. It's like the iPhone, so they keep increasing in number. The reason why you're not making money with AI is that you don't have the business knowledge. You don't have the business knowledge, right? You don't know what business it is. And that's fine. I'm not judging people. If you haven't gone to business school, you don't know business. If you don't have a Bachelor of Commerce, if you don't have an MBA degree, you don't know business. But going to university is not necessary, and even MBA graduates don't have business, because, like the Chinese proverb says, to know and not to do is not yet to know. It means that you can have an MBA degree and you can pretend that you know business, but if you're not running your own business, I don't care if you have an MBA degree, you don't know business. So business knowledge is what is stopping people, or to be more accurate, I would say lack of business knowledge stops people from making money with AI. So when I set up my Facebook group in early 2023, I called it Making Money with AI. But quickly, I realized that the real constraint to making money with AI comes from knowledge. If you don't have business knowledge, you're not going to make money with AI. Some people make money with AI. They create AI agents and they offer consulting or training services, but they are still employees. I'm talking about building a real business. I'm not talking about offering consulting services or training services. No, you're not building a business. You're not building wealth. You're still an employee. You're still a freelancer. So that's not a good direction. So I tell friends who are offering services, whether it's consulting, coaching, training, forget about it. You're not going to go very far when you offer a service. So you have to focus on creating products. And that's a different ball game, because business knowledge is very broad, right? To create products, and we're talking about ebooks, we're talking about video courses, we're talking about web applications, and I've sold all of that. I've created ebooks, video courses, applications, and I've sold these for a lot of money. So I've gone through this process. That's why I can teach you. But broadly speaking, people don't have business knowledge, and they don't know it. So like I said, the first barrier to overcome is your ego. You have to realize that there are things you don't know. Your belief system has been shaped by the university, by the college, by the government, by your parents, by your teachers, by your friends on Facebook. you have the wrong belief system, and therefore you cannot make money. You have to have the right mindset. And so let's talk about this mindset that you should have if you're going to have any hope of acquiring business knowledge. Because let's put it this way, imagine that business knowledge is like cooking know-how, and imagine we live in a world where there's no restaurants. Okay, this is just a thought experiment so that you understand what my point is simply that people don't have business knowledge, but they're not aware of it. They think, well, Peter, I don't really need business knowledge or an MBA. I don't need any business workshop from you, even if it's free, because I have a job, so I make money. Okay, and so, but people don't understand that having a job is not the same thing, or having professional knowledge is not the same thing as having business knowledge. So here's a thought experiment that will hopefully help you to understand and realize what business knowledge is. So, okay, there's no restaurant in your city, and business knowledge is like cooking know-how. So how are you going to eat? Or how will you feed your children? Right? When you're in that situation, obviously, it's not going to take long for you to realize that, I need to learn cooking. Okay, fortunately, I learned from my sister Kim. I'm very grateful. A while ago, I learned how to cook from her. You learn to cook the basics, like spaghetti, stew, like really just the basics, like even omelets. Of course, my favorite, instant noodles. I don't know, shepherd's pie. Like, all of this may seem like obvious to you, but let's say you're a kid and you're 10 years old. You have no idea how to do all of this. And so anyways, my point is that, if there's no restaurant out there and you have the ingredients at home, but you don't know how to cook, so it's going to dawn on you very quickly, I need to learn cooking. I need to learn from someone. So you go on YouTube and whatever. And it's the same thing with business knowledge. So here I'm going to put, I need to eat, therefore I need to learn cooking. And so we're going to be in the same situation fairly soon, where people will say, I got laid off because AI is here, and now I need to learn how to make money on my own. Like, there's no employers anymore. I think we're heading towards an economy where, forget about employers, because they will prefer to create AI agents that will do the work for them. So that's my prediction, and I'm not the only one. You can see a lot of people, a lot of institutions, the United Nations, for example, they estimate that people will lose their job, and it's gonna cost them about, on average, $28,000 to retrain and find a new career. But that's not the solution. The job, that's not the solution. The solution, I believe, it's not a solution. The long-term solution is you have to create a business for yourself, because then you can control your income. Like, when you have a business, like me, and you have, let's say, over 1,000 customers, one customer can leave you, okay? But you're not affected because you have, like hundreds and thousands of customers. But when you have a job and for some reason your boss decides to let you go, you don't have income anymore. So it's very, very unsafe, let's say, to hang on to a job. So anyways, my point is, at one point people will lose their job and they need to learn how to make money on their own. But even people, let's say, like, you keep your job, but you see your friends make a lot of money and you want to make money with AI because you're ambitious. So here, I keep my job for now, because you never know, right? You don't have a job. People think that AI is going to take away their job. Dude, you don't have a job. The job doesn't belong to you. The cubicle, the computer, equipment, the financial setup, the software, all of that belongs to your employer. You're renting out a job, right? you don't have a job. They can take away your job anytime. I don't know. It's like you're buying a car and you're not buying it. You're not paying cash for it, but you're paying monthly installments. Or like my brother recently did. He's what is it? He's renting a car for 2 years with an option to buy. So your job is something you're renting. It doesn't belong to you in the first place. If I give you a job, okay, if I give you a job and you work for me, and later on I'm going to explain how I will create thousands of jobs from my ventures. If I give you a job and you work for me and you make money every week, I can take that job away anytime. I don't even have to justify why I'm firing you. That is my right. I can just come up with an excuse. I don't have any more work, whatever. Sorry, John, I'm going to take away your job from you and you don't have an income anymore. So even if you do keep your job and you learn about AI, you learn how to use ChatGPT and you're very smart, you don't have resistance. But you look at your friends and your friends are getting freaking rich, and not even your friends, but you look around and you see people, young people in their early 20s, they're making an obscene amount of money. It can be $50K per month, or it could be more. Because when you learn how to use AI and you combine it with business, there's no limit how much money you can make. So there's no difference between 50K or 100K. It's just the AI doing its work. The important thing is that these young people, they're not working too hard. And even if they're working, it's like a video game. They use their laptop, they can travel all over the world, and many do. And they just have their dream life while you are working hard to enrich somebody else. So quickly, I think you're going to smarten up and you're going to realize that, I need to learn how to make money on my own like these guys, because that's human nature. You want what's better, and if it's available and AI can do the job for you, why not? But again, you're going to come up with this major constraint. I'm going to put it here, which is business knowledge. You don't have business knowledge because you've never been in business. You've never created a product, not a service. People, again, who create a service and go into business, they don't have a business, because when you're offering a service, it's not scalable. You cannot scale yourself, right? Unless, let's say, you're a trainer, like I am sometimes. I give a course on Zoom, like including this live stream. I record this live stream, and after that, I have a video and I sell that video for $20. So that is good. That is an example where a service becomes a product. But anyways, for most people, the constraint is that they don't have business knowledge. So if you're at a point where you're ready to forget about your ego for now, you still have your pride, right? But if you're the kind of person who wants to make money, and I assume that's the reason why you're in this group, Facebook, or that's the reason why you're subscribing to my Make Money with AI LinkedIn newsletter, you've overcome your constraint, your ego. Congratulations. So now you're ready to examine this constraint, this limit, this obstacle to your making money with AI. So let's be complete, and let's say the first constraint is your ego, or sometimes we call it your pride. Now, of course, there's a good kind of pride. If you have achievements, you should be proud. If you have good kids, you've raised them, you should be proud. But there's another kind of pride that somehow stops you from learning from other people, learning from me. And let's say you overcome your pride and you're kind of humble, and you're saying, "Oh, hey, Peter, I don't know as much about business as you do. I'm your student. I'm willing to learn." So you become like one of my students in my digital marketing courses or in my private workshops since 2005. So I have 20 years of experience teaching and coaching. So you overcome your ego. You become humble. Great. Now, the next constraint you have to be aware of before you even get to this constraint of business knowledge, before you're even ready to learn business. And this is important. Again, guys, I have 20 years of experience. I know exactly what is going on in your mind as a student, and even what's going on in your mind before you become a student. Okay? So that's the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is become a business student. But there are many invisible obstacles that will prevent you from getting to this objective. Okay, this is an important objective. You want to become a business student, but like I said, there are invisible forces inside of you, like your ego. You think that it's not your ego. You think that it's rationality. You think that, you know what, I'm a software developer. I'm a manager. Peter, dude, I don't need your business knowledge. I don't need to read business books. I don't need. I'm okay. I'm paying my mortgage. I'm taking care of my children. I'm okay. Stop bothering me. So that's your ego. So once you realize that that's your ego talking, and your ego wants you to be exactly where you are, I'm gonna get into a little bit of a scary zone here. So I hope that you're not holding a hot coffee or something, because this might be a little bit scary. So I just want to warn you a little bit. Okay, you think that your ego is your friend, but your hallucination, it doesn't exist. See the threats coming. What kind of criminals are there? What kind of hackers? What kind of gangs in your neighborhood are gonna steal from you? So your ego is like paranoid. But we can go into that. But once you realize that you are not your ego is just a voice that just talking. I was mostly just talking. I was mostly making jokes. My students will remember that I was making jokes. My students will remember that I was making jokes all the time, because to me, teaching is almost like stand-up comedy. I use it as a platform. To me, teaching is almost like stand-up comedy. I use it as a platform to make jokes, because students learn better when they're relaxed and when they're laughing. So because students learn better when they're relaxed and when they're laughing. So anyways, I had a lot of fun. This is kind of like a video game where you go from one level to a lot of fun. This is kind of like a video game where you go from one level to the next. Okay, good. You overcame level 1, and now the next constraint is good. You overcame level 1, and now the next constraint is BS. And you're right. It stands for, bullshit. But technically, BS stands for your belief. Her book, Atlas Shrugged, which stands for your belief. Her book, Atlas Shrugged, which happens to be the second most popular book, or the second most read book in the world after the Bible. And there's also a movie, read book in the world after the Bible. And there's also a movie on Atlas Shrugged. So anyways, Ayn Rand is true, it's valid, it's practical, it's useful, but it's incomplete. So that's when I began to go beyond that. So that's when I began to go beyond Ayn Rand. I know it sounds crazy because she's just such a great philosopher. So for me to say I'm going to go beyond Ayn Rand, it sounds... Let me just put it here. Like Elon Musk, when he starts a new business or goes into a new venture, he doesn't operate according to belief system or bullshit. This is where a lot of my successful friends, where they're going to be where they're going to struggle. Like, for example, let's say you're an accredited investor. You have they have a robust belief system because it's worked for them before. So if you want to go even further, look at Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, and these guys are billionaires. So there's no reason for Warren Buffett or even Jamie Dimon, the CEO and founder of your belief system. Congratulations, that's level 2. And you're getting to the first level here as a business student. Okay, so you're here. You've become a business student. Congratulations. You're ready and willing and able to learn business. YouTube, there's not a lot of webinars, which is why I'm creating the Open Digital University, which is free, by the way, but I'll talk more about that later. So now you're ready to learn business, creating wealth for yourself, for your family, focus on products. So that's number 1. How do I innovate? How do I create new products with ChatGPT? Number 2, how do I market those products? And whole discipline. I spent 3 years studying marketing and are the CEO. you have to focus on innovation and marketing. So that's the first thing that we need to learn, in business. Everything else is subservient, is secondary in terms of priority. You have to create new products and you have to market those products. There are so many things they need to learn. Okay, so I'm assuming that you're at level 3 and you're ready to ingest business knowledge. And so I'm going to stop here, but we'll continue later on. But this is where you should be. And when you're at this level, then you're brilliant. And so you're going to be stuck here. But you're stuck here not because the opportunities are not out there, not because AI can help you to make more money. You're stuck here because of your belief system, which is a lie. And I think that a lot of people will be stuck here. Because when you have an ego, stupid, they're going to realize, okay, wait a minute, I have these symptoms. So it must be my ego that is stopping me from learning, because there's no shortage of knowledge on the internet. You don't even have to have internet at home. You can go to a public place and with your laptop, your smartphone, you can learn. People will realize that people don't care about your problems. They don't care about your problems. It's your problem. You should solve it. But you're not able to solve your financial problem because of your ego. You don't want to learn from people. So this is, a lot of people are in that situation. Unfortunately, they're poor, financially struggling, suboptimal. So small success is good. I'm just saying that it's suboptimal in the sense that, it's not as good as it could be. So these people are more rational, because if I show them the possibilities about AI, they eventually, but also they have denial of facts. They deny the facts. They live in a kind of bubble, kind of, and we have to have commissions. They can easily make like $2,000 a month extra. Commissions. They can easily make like $2,000 a month extra. They will say no. They will say no because save their lives because all of this is going on internally inside of them. They're not aware of it. You have people who are financially struggling, and on Facebook you might not see them financially struggle, but they are struggling. Even if they're parents and they have a good job, they are struggling. They're worried about money, and they're not going to show it to people because of their ego. So you see them on Facebook, they're going to show pictures of their vacation and happy family pictures, and you have to go beyond that social posture that people are putting on Facebook. Everybody wants to look good, but deep inside, not deep inside, but you look at their bank account, they're not doing so good, So anyways, people, if you are here and you are successful, I don't mean that you have $1 million in net worth, but you have a job, everything is going well. Well, that's a problem. Because everything is going well, you think that everything will keep going well. This is a little bit like the Titanic. Maybe it's an extreme example, but everyone was having a good time on the Titanic until it crashes. So everyone here is going to have a good time in their career, in their profession, and then one day in 2026, AI takes over and their employer begins to let them go. And then, they might panic. So my point is that, you want to go here at level 2. So I'm going to put level here because you have to be aware of your level so that you can move on to the next level. And so hopefully you're at level 2, you're successful, you're making good money, you have a job, so it's good. You're not. Then the fun can begin. Then we can learn from each other, because wealth together, because I need products. And so I'm going to teach you how to do that, because it's not about a paycheck, okay? Products. And so I'm going to teach you how to do that, because it's not about a paycheck, okay? It's not about cash flow or getting a paycheck. It's about creating assets and wealth that will generate income for you even while you're sleeping. So I just wanted to make clear, like I spent almost like an hour to explain all of this effort intellectually to learn business. In the belief this job is the best way to make money, or a career way to make money, or a career. They don't believe in business, okay? Because here it's not yet a video game business. Okay, because here it's not yet a video game. You're playing a game. You're playing a video game, but it's your employer, it's holders who are making money. Video game, but it's your employer, it's holders who are making money. This is the level of working hard. Or sometimes maybe you're not working, but still I'm playing the video game here. For me, it's a video game. But still, I'm playing the video game here. For me, it's a video game. I'm at level 2 out of 10, maybe level 3. Money, you have a little bit more control. But you're still working so hard to enrich somebody else. So people at this level, they're basically slaves. Unless they're investors. And so I'm being deliberate in choosing these provocative words because I want to trigger people. Point is to get you to really jump with both feet. You jump into level 3 here, and now we're going to create all kinds of video games and games we play on Zoom, and we're going to have a lot of fun as we build wealth together. So there's tons of smart people in my LinkedIn network who can contribute. And of course, to play this game, you have to pay a fee, right? I just want serious people. So I'm going to put the $30 a year. And, you have Abby. I can still run DeepSeek and get a lot of value out of it. So anyways, my point is that DeepSeek, the Chinese model, inspired me to go open source and make it available to people all over. One business book. And then the average chief executive officer in the United States reads like more than 50 to 60 books a year. Now think about that for a minute. The CEO of a company, usually it's a very smart guy who knows about business, and yet he's reading 50 books. Create yourself. So here I would invite people. This is like a special webinar that I would have to create to help people in my Facebook and LinkedIn network don't work at all. So they rely not as here, definitely like no fun at all. So sometimes they will pretend that they have fun because they work. They will pretend that they have fun because they work hard, they work a lot, they move around. The reason why you're not having the best and most amazing life is that you have a lack of money. And once you have unlimited money coming your way, if you want money, it's almost like you press a button and the money flows to your bank account. Then you will have the most amazing life that you can have for yourself. Meaning that you can buy any Meaning that you can buy any car, you can travel to any place, you have freedom. You can buy any designer clothes, whatever you want, a big house. You will have it because money is no longer